Good evening, I'm Laura Lee.
And I'm Dan Wolf. Thanks for joining us. One pill can kill. That message today from Senator Amy Klobuchar on the fentanyl crisis in Minnesota.
Well, just this week, President Biden passed the Fend Off Fentanyl Act, a law that claims or aims to target international drug traffickers.
In Northern News Now's Heidi Stang heard from the senator and local law enforcement today about how this law will help our region. Heidi?
Dan, Laura, the Fend Off Fentanyl Act is a sanctions and anti-money laundering bill. Fend Off is an acronym for Fentanyl Eradication and Narcotics Deterrence. It allows the Treasury Department to target, sanction, and block the assets of transnational criminal organizations. It also declares international fentanyl trafficking a national emergency. Minnesota statewide gang and drug coordinator Ken Sass was on today's call. He said the amount of fentanyl seized in Minnesota each year is increasing, quote, dramatically. 2 years ago, the 21 state-funded task forces seized 200,000 pills and 35 pounds of powder fentanyl. Last year, they found much more, over 1 million pills and 160 pounds of powder. Part of that surge, according to Senator Klobuchar, is a rise in readily available pills on social media.
You know, when a Boeing plane lost a door mid-flight, nobody questioned the decision to ground a fleet of over 700 planes. We need to make the same type of decisive action on social media's role in the fentanyl crisis.
She added that 1 in every 3 DEA investigations related to fentanyl are connected to social media. The Fend Off Fentanyl Act received bipartisan support and reached the president's desk as part of a national security package.
Heidi, thank you. Now, this bill also allows the president to use money from forfeited and sanctioned property to help with law enforcement efforts. Coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, we will hear from Duluth Police Chief Mike Sonoya about what his office has seen and how this law will help our region.